In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the transfer case motor on this Ford Ranger. It sits right on the transfer case here. Obviously this only applies to four-wheel drive models, and this is what shifts your truck into four-wheel drive. Let's get started. Let's first unplug the electrical connector, press on this tab, and separate the two. A lot of times these are stuck from sand buildup in here, so I might need a little bit of persuasion. Sometimes even rust penetrant can help. Sometimes you can take a pocket screwdriver, stick it in here, and that'll help you release the tab, or at least hold it released, so you can wiggle this around until it breaks free and disconnects. There we go. All right, set this aside. This is the harness that comes off the truck, so we're gonna set this to the side, and this is the harness that comes with the motor. We're gonna pull this off of here. There we go, and now this can stay with the motor. Let's unbolt it. It has three 10mm bolts here and one on the end right here. Let's start with this one on the end. Take that out. That just secures that bracket in place. Now take these three off. Keep this bracket because this is where the wiring harness attaches. And now you want to take the motor. It might be a little bit stuck. A lot of times it's because of the gasket that is here. And now remove it. There it is. Let's install the new one. On the transfer case, you'll see that there is either a gasket or some RTV that you'll want to scrape off, so we can apply new RTV. And that's how this seals up. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to get as much of this old stuff out as possible. Make sure there's no corrosion. If there's a lot of corrosion built up, consider sanding it, or just keep using the razor blade. That usually does the job very well. Put a thin bead of RTV on this surface, very thin. Now if you had your new motor, just line it up. All right, and start the three bolts on this side, starting by hand, of course. I know that there's supposed to be a bracket here, so I'm going to pull those off, but the reason I started them regardless is so that it would hold this in place. Okay, so now that I have them started, the top one can do that job. It's a little bit more difficult to reach the top one, which is why I opted to just put these in. There we go. Get that bracket reconnected. And before you tighten these, you want to tighten, or at least insert the one on the far side here by the outer bracket, just so it can hold it in place so it stops wobbling around like this. Okay, hold it, snug it up, and tighten these. I'm just going to take a socket and ratchet, make sure all these are nice and snug now. All right, now take the wiring harness and resecure it. Make sure it's out of the way of the drive shaft and plug it back in. And now go ahead and test it out. Of course, when you use four-wheel drive, if you don't already know, always use it on loose terrain, not dry pavement or anything where it can bind up, because it can cause damage internally in the transfer case.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.